Hello, Matt here, coming from Reborn Mind, Body, Soul. Now in this video, we're going to be talking to you about how to control your mind. Now before we get into the actual steps and strategies on how to control your mind, we've got to lay a foundation first. So the first fundamental we have to understand is that everything starts out as a thought. I'll say that again, everything starts out as a thought. Now that means at one point this whiteboard was never invented. Maybe the chair you're sitting in right now was never invented. Maybe the phone you're watching this on right now was never invented. It started off in the unmanifest. Now, someone at one point started creatively thinking about that thought and wanted to bring it into the manifest, which leads me to the next point. Like attracts like. So as someone was thinking, I need a whiteboard, right? There wasn't even a name for it. What should we even call it? Oh, it's white and it's a board. Okay, I guess we should call it a whiteboard. So like attracts like. So you send out a thought, and that thought attracts other thoughts. And at a deeper level, a thought is a frequency. So you're attracting similar frequencies. So if you're thinking negative, you're going to attract negative thoughts. If you're thinking positive, you're going to start attracting more positive thoughts. Now, the next point, we have to understand this mechanism inside our brain. It's called the reticular activating system. Now, this mechanism is responsible for our selective focus. So if you're choosing to focus on positive things, you're going to start drawing in more positive things, or your goals or your dreams. If you're concentrated on all the negative things that are happening, you're going to start drawing that in through your RAS. So to give you an example about the RAS, let's say you're looking to buy a blue Honda. You start looking on your phone, start looking up and researching blue Honda. Then you start on your computer, start Googling blue Honda. You go to the dealership and you test drive a blue Honda. Now, on the drive home, you may start to see on the road, oh, there's a blue Honda. And you get to another cross section and, oh, there's a blue Honda. That's your RAS working. And how it works is it creates selective focus, because what you focus on, what we obsess about, grows. So really understanding that mechanism inside our brain, we can use that to our advantage. The next point we have to understand, we become what we think about most of the time. This is done such extensive work by the man of Earl Nightingale. He speaks very profoundly on this subject. But we are a product of what we think about. So what we obsess about, we get in return. So what do I mean by that? Well, Les Brown says that all of us are self-made, but only the successful ones are willing to admit that. And so where were you in 2019? What were your thoughts? How were you thinking? What were you heading towards? And I think more than ever in 2020, that allowed us to really reflect on how our thinking was, because how we were thinking got us to the actual situations that we felt and experienced in 2020. So as you move forward, knowing this now, as in 2021 and moving into 2022, what is it you want? What do you want to start cultivating? Because you become what you think about. So now let's run some stats on our brain. I love this stuff. I love this. So think about this for a sec. We have 75,000 thoughts a day. 75,000 thoughts a day. And 91% of them are repeated. 91% are repeated. So what you were thinking yesterday, 91% of the day is exactly the same. So for some people, that's really good. For others, that may not be the greatest thing. But what we can do is we can alter that 9%. So that's what we can start focusing on, is that 9%. That's why I love focusing on the daily wins, just the micro wins, because over time, they start having a compound effect and they start growing exponentially. This is what I've been doing with my body. This is what I've been doing with my mind and my meditations and my spirituality. You know, I've been focusing on these so that I can become a better version of myself, not for today, but for down the line. You know, maybe not a year, 2 years. I'm 6 years on this journey, still reaping the rewards from what I was doing when I started this journey when I was 25. Now, This is a really kind of philosophical one, but we really got to understand this. We see reality as we are, not as it is. I'll say that again. We see reality as we are, not as it is. So how we choose to see the world through our eyes, this is why 1,000 people can go through one similar experience and have 1,000 different experiences. So we have to understand that how we see reality is how we experience it. Now we can alter that. Maybe that's good. Maybe how you're thinking is lined up. If your thinking's not lined up, you're going to see reality as you are, but not for what it is. So we have to be able to start being able to take an audit on our thoughts, which leads me to the next points on how to control your mind. So the first step to controlling your mind, you have to start taking an inventory of your thoughts. You have to start becoming aware of your thinking. You have to tune into your thinking. Some of the ways I learn is by going to nature. I observe my thoughts in nature. Another time, in the morning. Another way, meditating. Start taking an inventory of your thoughts. And then once you start understanding and studying your thoughts, the step 2, you want to find the thoughts that don't serve you. So a good way to find the thoughts that don't serve you and the thoughts that do serve you is write down your thoughts. Write down your current thoughts, because 91% of them are the same as yesterday. So we might as well start becoming aware of them so we can use that to our advantage. Then what we want to do is when we find the thoughts that don't serve us, we want to replace them. Now, there's a lot of depth to this. Because obviously you're probably saying to me, I know I did when I first heard this, yeah, I would do that if I could. But hello, I got 91% of how I was yesterday. Exactly. So it's going to take some time to start replacing the thoughts. How you can start replacing thoughts is by writing affirmations, by listening to subliminals, or listening to people like me on YouTube that are sending positive vibrations to constantly change your thinking. That's what I've done with podcasts. There's this thing called found time. That's all the time when you're driving, you're brushing your teeth, you're doing the dishes. Start filling your mind with positive people and positive thoughts. And then that way you can start shifting your mind. So the third step to controlling your mind, this is huge. We check our phone 400 times a day. We check our phone 400 times a day. Now, if we check our phone 400 times a day, we might as well put the thoughts that we want to create. So as you can see here, this is what I'm working towards. There was someone that told me, you want to create a word for the year or a saying for the year. And the word that I wanted to feel at the end of this year was freely stable. So I created an affirmation that says, I am freely stable. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, that's why I'm a digital nomad. I love traveling. I love going wherever I want to go. But the problem is what I would do is I'd just go leave and then I'd be broke because I didn't create any stability. But this is what I'm doing now, is creating stability online, but geographically I can be wherever I want to be. And so that to me is what I wanted to create for 2021 this year. So put some thoughts on your phone. What is it you want to cultivate? Because you're looking at this thing 400 times a day. Now, I got my affirmation book here too. Now, if you can see this, I do these affirmations daily. And what this allows me to do is helps me focus on the thought. Now, there's a powerful, powerful moment that happens. And it's in the book, Ask and It Is Given by Jerry and Esther Hicks. And they say that if you focus for 68 seconds, it's equivalent to 2,000 hours of activity. I'll say that again. If you focus on a thought for 68 seconds, it's equivalent to 2,000 hours of activity. So what I'm doing here is I'm writing, I am so happy and grateful now that I am freely stable, doing something that I am passionate about. And while I'm writing that, I'm like feeling into the freely stable lifestyle. And I write these in the morning so that I can have focus on them. Now, the fourth step. You gotta control your thoughts in the morning and night. You want to take an audit on yourself. You want to tune into yourself and control your thoughts. The first moment you wake up is the time to see what your subconscious mind was thinking about. So as you wake up in the morning, you can tune into your thinking. And that's the best time to prime yourself, the best time to put in those good thoughts that you're wanting to think about. Now, let's say you have an insecurity, like you're insecure of yourself in some way, and you wake up and you feel that insecurity. Well, you can now become aware of that. There it is, and you can call it out. There's the insecurity, and then let it go. Like, let it pass you. Don't hold on to it, because what you have been doing potentially, if this is what you've experienced, I know I used to experience this quite often, is that I would hold on to it in the morning and then think about it and think about it and think about it. And then we know that like attracts like. And then we know that our RAS will start to focus on that same thought and bring in more thoughts. So there's a really, really futile moment in the morning and at night. Really important. I was just talking to a client the other day, and I told her, you want to start visualizing. She's working through building a new visualization. I said, you want to work on that in the morning, like right before you get up and even go meditate. Just lie with yourself in that beautiful place of yourself and start visualizing. So let's just do a quick recap. First step, you want to take an inventory of your thoughts. Okay, tune into how you're thinking. The second one, you want to find the thoughts that aren't serving you. Tune into the thoughts that aren't serving you no longer, and then start replacing them. The third step, put the new thought that you're wanting to create on your phone. Create an affirmation, create a vision board. Start looking at that so it can help you to start changing your thought pattern. Fourth step, control your thoughts in the morning and then at night. Be aware of your thoughts at night and tune into them. So with this, I share my peace and I share my love, and I hope that you got value from this. And let me know in the comments below how you plan to control your thoughts.